Yeah. See, today was a moderately heavy day, so it wasn't so much like a pump day. I don't go crazy heavy on legs like I used to. I don't really squat so much anymore. My back's kind of, I've had a lot of back issues. Like I was telling you, my chiropractor told me that one of my vertebrae, one of my discs is it's pretty degenerated, like more than it should be for my age. So they're almost touching. They're not fusing yet, but they're pretty close. And so like a lot of any bending exercises with a lot of weight, it's not. My back is fucked for days after that. So let's see, adductors and abductors. I started doing that because Ken started having me do that at his place, and I've realized I really like the feeling of kind of like warming up my legs, kind of getting things a bit full, because you kind of feel your adductors, the inside of your thigh kind of get full and tight, and then you kind of like your glutes on the outside get a little tight and full. So you kind of start your workout with a bit of a pump and full feeling, and you're warmed up. So I realized when we did that at Ken's that the rest of my workout was pretty smooth because those muscles were nice and warm. And so we just did like 4 sets of that on each, like 15, 20 reps. Nothing major, not really killing it, but getting a nice little pump and burn. And then we went into seated leg curls. Any leg day will usually alternate between seated or laying to start with. I done laying leg curls the last few times, so we did seated. Sets of 10, pyramiding up in weight to the heaviest. So I think we did like 5 working sets after warm-ups, and then on the heaviest after the 10 to near failure, then pump out 20 partials to finish it off on the last set. Then we moved on to leg press. My plan was to go heavier on these. This was my heavy movement for the workout. Pyramided up, did about, I don't really go super heavy where I'm doing 8 reps or anything. I feel like I have decently small joints. I mean, I guess it's beneficial for bodybuilding because when you put on muscle around small joints, you create a good illusion for sweep and stuff. But being that, I feel like my shit's gonna break when I'm under heavy weight. So basically, just as it got heavier, I decided if I was gonna drop the reps. So we just kept slapping on weight. I think we did 4 or 5 working sets here. Did maybe 3 or so warm-ups. Did like 15. I can't remember. I just kept slapping on weight. Got down to 12 until our heaviest set. I think we did 12. I don't really like I said, I don't take it to complete failure because it would take a lot of weight, and at that point, I don't feel it on my muscle anymore. I just feel like my connective tissue is struggling to keep up with the weight, and I'm not. The transfer of the weight isn't on my muscle so much. So, being that it's bodybuilding, there's a point to where the benefit isn't for growing your muscle, you're just pushing weight, and just because you're pushing more weight doesn't mean it's going to be more beneficial for developing a better physique. So, I mean, you could see a lot of guys probably lifting a lot heavier weight than most bodybuilders, but they're not going to have the physique that a bodybuilder does, so it doesn't go hand in hand. But so we did our last set, I think about 12 reps, stripped off a bunch of weight, and then pumped out another 10. Let's see. We did that, went over to the hack squat, just did I think we just did 3 sets of, again, increasing the weight. I don't normally go too heavy on hacks either. I usually do it in a way that's more of a stretch and contract, but I'd call this moderate weight up to my last set. So we just pyramided up again, 10, 12 reps or so. And then went over to like a one-legged lunge, or kind of like a Bulgarian, like the split squat kind of, on the Smith machine. Kept that around 12 each leg, same weight. So at this point, kind of done the heavier stuff, kind of transferring over to more just a constant tension, more pumping kind of mentality at this point. So we kind of broke the muscle down, beat everything up with the heavy stuff. Now just trying to drive lots of blood in there and feed all that broken muscle with blood. So that's what we started with these. Just kept the weight the same, pumped out 12 reps, 3 sets. Finished the whole workout at the very end with 3 pyramiding sets of straight leg deadlift, just 12, 15 reps. Just stretch out the hammy. I feel like straight legs are probably the most beneficial hamstring exercise you could do. You don't, on a leg curl, you definitely feel it in the hamstring and you feel the contraction hard, but the funny thing is about straight leg deadlifts is you feel a bit of a stretch and your lower back will burn, but it's not until the next day when you feel all the work that the straight legs did to your hammies. You feel it from your back of your knee all the way up to your butt. So I don't know. I feel like they're one of the most beneficial exercises for hamstring development, especially after everything's fried, everything's full, and you do a nice deep stretch in there. It's really good for your hammies. So that was it. And calves I usually do on a non-leg day because I put all the energy into quads and hammies. Yeah, right now I would usually wake up 235 to 237. Today I was about 238. So it just depends how much I really eat that day. I have a diet that I go to follow. See, my biggest flaw isn't like getting off my diet, eating stuff I'm not supposed to. It's just eating what I am supposed to. Like I prepare my meals and stuff like to execute the day like I'm supposed to, but my appetite's just it's just crap. I don't know, just don't have that huge appetite for food. So I'll pack my meals, and a lot of times at the end of the day I'll still have 2-3 meals left over. So I'm like, fuck, and then I'll put them in the fridge, try it again the next day. I'll still have a couple meals left over. I'm like, God damn. So a lot of times I end up throwing away a lot of food because between taking it out of the fridge, putting it back in the fridge, it goes bad. So that's my biggest flaw, is not eating as much as I'm supposed to. But I'm not going to force feed. I'm not going to make myself feel sick. And I eat a lot of times when I'm not as hungry or not very hungry. So I do eat, but I'm not going to sit there and make it miserable. I just don't believe in that. So. Were
you never a big eater even before you were in like bodybuilding and stuff?
Yeah, I really never have been. When you're around normal people, you're like, oh man, this guy could eat, but compared to what you're supposed to eat as a bodybuilder, it's different. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you might be able to sit down and eat a big meal, but eating a decent sized meal, a pretty big meal, 5-6 times a day, it gets, talk to a lot of bodybuilders, it's almost taboo to talk about, dude, I'm gonna have a cheat meal, like, fuck, I'll eat what I want when I want it, you know what I mean? I'll still pack all my chicken and all my food, and when I have a cheat meal, I'll try to make it something that's going to do something for my body that has protein and has carbs and stuff in it, but, I mean, it's not a big deal for me. I don't act like it's a, dude, man, hey, I had a cheat meal I shouldn't have the other day. Like, it's off season, Yeah. Eat big, lift big, enjoy it, because then when it's time for prep, there is no mistakes, it's you're pretty much perfect every day when it comes prep time. So time to have a life in the off season.